I know for a fact this video is gonna make me uncomfortable, but I'm gonna make it anyways, because I love you all, and it's important to talk about. I think most of you have heard of pregnant trans men. It is possible for trans men to get pregnant. I've seen a lot of videos of trans men giving birth, but they're just women. They've never been on testosterone, probably never will, got the big septum piercing, and no gender dysphoria. However, trans men who have been on testosterone for a while can also get pregnant.
I started testosterone when I was 17. Back then, the belief was that after 5 years of being on testosterone, it would render someone infertile. So we didn't use protection. Testosterone is not birth control. Now, I wasn't on my hormones when this happened. It had been 2 years since I had last been able to get a prescription for my testosterone when I got pregnant. Even after years, you are still capable of pregnancy. I've had a few people message me and wondering how I did it. By accident, that's how.
Even though I don't believe that if a woman has been on testosterone for like 12 years, goes off it for like 2 years, she will magically get pregnant. But we are starting to see a rise in women who have been on testosterone for a couple of years become pregnant and give birth. Maybe for adult women, testosterone is not necessarily birth control. But if you, God forbid, give a 12-year-old or a 13-year-old testosterone, the possibility of permanent sterilization is quite high. Here's an example of a pregnant trans man.
I'm a pregnant trans man and I'm 22 weeks pregnant. This is what my stomach is looking like, and it's also 33.5 inches in circumference. And if you want to see weekly updates,
I don't. You have no idea how uncomfortable I feel right now reacting to this video. I don't know, maybe I feel secondhand dysphoria, if that's the term. When I started being sexually active with biological males, I was constantly anxious, afraid of becoming pregnant. Because at the time, I've only been on testosterone for not that long. It was so weird because I felt dysphoric about something that didn't happen. I've never been pregnant, but I felt so horrible mentally, emotionally, just knowing it was a possibility. I felt so relieved after getting my uterus and my ovaries removed. I felt so free. So there's one thing I will never understand, and that's trans men getting pregnant and giving birth. If we're talking about passing trans men, they went through a medical transition because they couldn't handle looking like a woman. These women went on testosterone to get rid of their high-pitched voice. Got top surgery because their breasts made them too dysphoric. The dysphoria was like, feel a lot of distress because it's a female body part. So how can someone in that situation go through a pregnancy? Becoming pregnant, giving birth is the most female thing ever. I will say, if it was an accident, the women didn't plan the pregnancies. Fair enough, I guess. The only thing I want to add is I'm quite concerned about the health aspect. We all know that pregnant women shouldn't smoke, drink, and the list is really, really long. But in this case, we're talking about a woman on testosterone who's been on testosterone for, let's say, 3 years. 4 years. Is that going to be unhealthy for the baby? For the woman herself? The trans man himself, whatever. To be honest, I don't know what to think about the trans men who pass 100% as men, but they accidentally get pregnant and they do give birth. I actually don't know if they're real transsexuals. But I don't necessarily want to lump them in with obvious fake trans men, like young women who identify as trans for clout, because it's trendy nowadays. I don't think the first guy I reacted to is the same as this young woman who claims she doesn't deal with gender dysphoria and she would love to get pregnant, be a pregnant dad. Let's watch.
Me personally, as a transmasc, I really do not have dysphoria over my body as a whole or any of my female functions like periods and pregnancy. Although I really do hate my periods, it's nothing I'm dysphoric about.
Congratulations, it means you're a woman, a regular woman. To everyone watching, whenever you hear the term transmasc, it's just describing women or girls. Nothing special. There's nothing trans about them. You would often hear activists say something about trans men or transmascs. According to them, transmascs are not the same as trans men.
It was my voice that was my primary source of dysphoria prior to my transition.
Who the hell gave you testosterone? You as a regular young woman wanted your voice to be deeper. That's it. Khalas. And a doctor gave you testosterone. That's disgusting. Yet another obvious case of medical malpractice.
For years, I was like, nope, I'm not gonna have any kids. Kids are annoying. I'm just gonna remove my uterus. But then, all that changed when I met my boyfriend. Because something in me told me, this man is perfect. I want to have kids with this man.
Interesting. Imagine if all of these trans kids or trans teenagers did medically transition. What if them being in love would change their minds about being trans? They wouldn't need to transition as a kid. They wouldn't need to get osteoporosis. At the age of 20, they wouldn't be infertile. Remember, pregnant trans men transitioned as an adult. The guy in the beginning transitioned when he was 17. I think that's crazy. But he was 17, not 13. Puberty is essential. When talking about a trans man's fertility, it's important to know if they've been through the female puberty.
Now that I've been with him for 2 years, I still do. While most Transmascs are pretty dysphoric about pregnancy, I'm not. I'm willing to go through with it.
I just think this whole thing is fucked up. There are young women out there who go on testosterone even though they shouldn't. They don't deal with gender dysphoria, they're not trans. In this case, this woman is autistic, something I noticed way before reading her bio. It makes me so... I don't know what I'm feeling right now, but these people are appropriating my mental disorder, the transsexual experience, but they're not trans. They have no idea what it's like. I'm not really judging her. Good for her. She's most likely gonna have kids, have her own biological kids, but the thing is, trans men can't do the same as her. Women like this can just be women. They could live their lives as women, but they're choosing to hijack a community they don't belong in and appropriating a certain medical condition, a certain experience that they can't relate to. Her wishing to become pregnant triggers me because it's just a big slap in the face to all trans men who are now sterilized. So, and no, Transmasc are not dysphoric about pregnancy. Have you ever heard about this group of people called lesbians? There are so many lesbians who don't want to be pregnant. They feel so uncomfortable, not dysphoric, because that's a mental disorder, but they feel icky or like, no, that's not for me. And that's valid.
Even though it's gonna be really hard on my body, that's just pregnancy. Your hormones are whack. You have weird cravings and all kinds of other shit that goes with it, not including childbirth, so...
Right, but you're on testosterone. You never thought about that. You don't think that's relevant when talking about health and the pregnancy?
You really didn't miss much about the whole part of me wanting to be a dad and conceive children with my boyfriend.
Sorry to burst your bubble, honey, but if you give birth, you're the child's mother. You can't be a dad. And I'm mostly saying this because you look like this. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Remember to hit subscribe and the notification bell, and I'll see you all in my next video. Peace out.